Hi. Okay, so what do I got here? I got this from eBay, I think, or Alibaba, I don't remember really. But this is a protection board for a lithium-ion battery. This is an example of a already protected cell. This is NCR 18650. Of course, this is the size of the battery. This is 18 millimeter, and this is the width, and the 650 is the length. So this is a protected cell. How does this work? Very simple. If you have a short circuit or overcharge or over discharge, it just disconnect the battery from the source or the load or what need to be done. So let's take a battery and turn it into a protected cell. You can see by the size that the battery is the protected cell. I will try to put them side by side so you can see that the protected cell is a little higher. It's longer, let's say, because of the protected circuit. And what come in this package, let's see. Okay, so there is a sticker for the battery positive. There is a plastic probably to put the PCB in, and this is a button for the plus of the battery. By the way, these are just isolators to put the battery and shrink it after applying the change. So the question is how to connect this to the battery. Basically this is very simple. What you need to do is just connect. There is a sign of, I will show, maybe I will use this thing to show. So there is the battery plus here and the battery negative, and basically you just need to connect it to the battery, and that's all. So how it works and what does it do? Very simple. This will be the new battery, minus or negative, and it will disconnect the battery when it is overcharged, over discharge, over voltage, and things like that. So what it is actually doing, it is disconnecting the minus of the battery, not the plus, the minus. Why? Because this is how they do these things. So it means that the minus is connected from here directly to the pad of the battery. We will solder it. Let's say we will weld it. It's much better than solder it. And there will be a new minus, and this will be the new minus. And when something bad happens, so it will disconnect the battery. This way it is also protecting the battery. So one thing to know, which is very, very important in this kind of work. As I said, the battery is disconnecting the negative side of the battery and not the positive, which means that if you don't isolate this conductor that is connecting directly to the plus of the battery, okay, it is connected to here. So when there is a short between this wire, which is now the plus of the battery, this is going from the plus and giving up down here the circuit, the voltage for the circuit. So if you have a short between this pad and the minus, which is all the body of the battery, so in this case this circuit will not help you. Remind this. which means that you have to make sure that you have a very good isolation for this conductor that is going from the positive down to the negative of the battery. Okay, this is very, very important, because if you do a short from this pad to the minus, so this board will not help you and it will not protect, and the battery can explode. Okay, so this is the main thing to know when dealing with these boards. Okay, so now let's see how to connect it. So first you need to solder these two lines, and then we will transfer it through this plastic, and then we'll put it here, weld it here, weld it to the positive side, and then we are good to go. So before doing it, maybe I will try to find a battery that I have already disconnect this pad. I have battery that I've already took out better all the positive part. Okay, another thing, when doing it, it is very, very, very recommended to check the battery voltage. Why is that so important? Because you don't want to do this change while the battery is fully charged. And why you don't want to do it? Now it is 3.68, which is about 50% charged. Why this very important? Because if you have any issue of short, so it is better if the battery, let's say, is 30%, 50%, so it probably less chances that it will explode. Okay, much less chances, but you need to know exactly what you are doing. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, so now let's do the first part, soldering these two wires. I will show exactly how to do it. Okay, so we will use tweezers to put the conductor exactly in the places that it should be. This is 1 and this is 2. Of course we will later have to shorten them to cut it to the correct size that we actually need. And this part is not with a welder, of course. This is soldering part. Okay, so I'm using now my hardcore soldering, and it will soon be hot, already hot. Okay, so what I do, I just put it, I can catch it with my hand and try to do it with a very low profile of the soldering. Maybe it is better to put first a solder to the board. It will be better, of course, if they were already from the fab, but it didn't came from the fab with the soldering. Okay, so this is one part. Let's do the same for the other part. Okay. Try to centerize to the board. This is very, very tiny. Sorry that the camera is blocked. Okay, so of course this is not perfect. Well, now we will fix so it will be exactly centerized. Okay, this one is okay and this one is okay. What you want to do, of course, try to apply some force and to make sure, and maybe look from the side like this and to see that the profile is low enough to fit into the plastic. Okay, so now I'm taking this part. By the way, there is a side one with a bigger output, one with a lower. So okay, I think that the bigger side should be the battery minus and the lower should be the battery plus. This is what my sense is telling me. I will explain in a second why. Okay, so now we need to put it to the hole like this, also the other side like this, and now it should fit in if you've done it properly. So it should look something like this. Okay, something like this. And now again, why I think this is the negative side, because this will bend and this is on the bottom side, so it should be, to my opinion, the minus. Let's make sure that I did connect it to the minus. Yes, you can see the minus in my hand. So this is the minus. Okay, so now we want to apply this to this side of the battery and the plus to the plus side, and then close it everything out. Okay, so let's see how to connect. So I will bend now the minus, so I will know that this is the minus side. Now we will go to the welding. I will zoom out. Okay. So now I will connect my welder and will show how to do the next step. So now what I do is, before welding it, I will put a Kapton tape in order to catch it exactly where I want the welding to be. This is the minus part, so something like this. Yes, something like this. Now I will use a manual spot. So I'm applying both, and you can see just to spot. This is already enough to catch it. Okay, now disconnect the welding for now. So basically this part is done. I will cut the wire up to here. Something like this. And now this will be the negative. Again, make sure that you connect in the correct order the negative and the positive. Okay, so we can see here, hope you can see it, that it is done correctly. Hop, look what happened. This side fell. So obviously it was not soldered very well. So it's time to fix it before closing everything. So maybe it is a good thing to put a little welding paste on the wire itself. Don't worry if it happens, you can fix it. Okay, again I'm checking that it is catched well. It looks well. Hopefully it will not happen again. Now I need to enter the wire to this side. Okay. Okay, it should look something like this. And of course you need to make sure that the board is connected well, like this. Okay. Next step will be to connect this side to the positive part of the battery. But before doing it, as I explained, it's very important that everything will be isolated. So my suggested cut it nicely, searching for scissors, found and connect it like this from side to side. This way I make sure that I have an extra isolated. Now I feel much safer with this option. Up to the upper part of the battery. And now I want to solder this side. So again I will now cut the parts that I don't need. I can also maybe put another glue, another Kapton here to catch the wire properly. Later we will close it all. So I took just another part just for the welding part. Maybe I will remove it later because it will be too wide with all these extensions. And now I want to weld this part. So again, activating the welder on the manual mode. Maybe we'll use it on the holder, it would be much better. This is the things that we need. Now I'm not sure what I will do about the cap. This is the cap that arrived with it. I'm just not fully sure how can I put this part. Maybe this one, maybe I will be able to solder. The thing is that you have here you have these holes. If you have a problem with cell and gas need to go out, so it's very important that it will not be that the hole will not be closed. So maybe we'll try, I don't know how how they meant that we will put this, because welding it, I'm not sure that it is good enough. Put in maybe a solder will be okay. The thing is that this already welded well, so maybe we will try to solder it. I think this is the best option. So what I will do, I will put soldering here and a little beneath, maybe, if you will see, of course not on the upper side, just this side. Let's see if we can glue it, because if it doesn't catch the paste, so there is nothing I can do. Okay, sinking, let's sink. Maybe we will try to weld it. Don't know, because it is very thick, so it's not an easy thing to weld. Okay, let's try. Never done it. This is the first time. But let's see if we can weld it. This is very tricky. I don't know how to centerize it well. Maybe we will put a glue to catch it while doing the weld, and then we'll see if it succeeded. Okay, nothing to lose. Now this is not strong enough, the welding. Yes, I think this is now, it looks like it is catched well. Let's remove this part. Yes, it looks like it succeeded. Of course, I will do it, of course, also on the other side. What I did is just 3 pulses on the same spot. So now it looks like it is okay. As you can see, the battery looks professionally welded. Of course, it's not yet finished. Before I close it, let's check that we have the voltage that we expect from side to side, meaning that the circuit is working properly. So let's connect the negative and the positive. Yes, and we can see that the voltage looks okay. So now we are ready to close it. The closing, you just put the heat shrink that will catch everything properly. Of course you need to apply on both sides so it will be enough place to catch everything and close it well. Now we will put a hot air in order to close it. So I'm using exactly 100 degrees Celsius. This is more than enough. Just apply hot on the upper side all over the body of the battery. And now we have a protected cell, a well done protected cell. Let's okay, looks pretty nice. Maybe I should take out the Kapton on the upper side, but it's better that we have it because this is the best isolator that we can get in order to connect everything well. Now of course I have to mark that this is a protected cell, so now is the most important part of this video. Protected cell. Homemade. And of course I want to write with which cell I used. So this was just a second. This was 600. So 260 100 milliampere hour, and this is the cell is LG 9 bot. 9 bot. Of course it was 10 amps continuously, which will not work because this is all it is about. It's about protecting the cell from, for example, over discharge. So now let's check the discharge and see at what current it stopped. Okay, so this is a electronic load. What we will do is just connect it and see at what current it stops. I guess it will be something around 5 amps. These boards are usually effective till 5 amps, something like this. So in order to catch the battery, I'm using always the module magnet. This is a very good solution. So now the cells is connected, and which is the current, I don't remember which one of the two. If this is the current, so we will now apply a load. Okay, 1.5 amps, everything looks okay. Let's go up. 2 amps still okay, 3 amps okay, 4 amps, 5 amps. Let's go up, it stopped. About 5.5 amps, it stopped. Now let's see if the circuit reset itself. Now it should be. And you can see 2 amps and it is okay. So the protection for overload is working perfect. Now we need to do a test for charging and then discharging. So as you can see, 5 amps, 5.5, and it's stopping. Again, I will do again the same test. 3 amps, 4 amps, 4.3. We go to 5.2 and then 5.7. I go about 6 amp, and this is stopping. Now I will remove the load. And eventually it should reset itself, and it reset itself perfectly. So the overload is working, the battery is not heating, and as you can see the voltage is okay, didn't drop a lot. So now the cell is about 5 amp, 6 amp, and then it will protect the cell. Another thing that of course it will protect if the voltage is up above 4.2 volts. It will also protect the cell. So we will do a test and try to charge it maybe at 4.5 volts, and eventually when it will reach a little above 4.2, this is when the circuit will enter the protect mode and protect the cell. Okay, I will do the charge test, and I will show a result and show when it is closed to 4.2 volts.